I'm 81 years old, and I lost my best friend last year. 50 years we spent side by side, and now he's gone. I keep thinking about all the moments I didn't take seriously, the small things I let slip past, the times I thought there would be another chance. And there wasn't. I've started talking about it now because I feel the weight of it pressing on me. And maybe if I say it out loud, it won't feel so empty. We met when I was 21. He was loud, always laughing, always taking things lightly, and I admired that about him. I was quiet, careful, worried about doing the right thing, about keeping the world steady. He balanced me. We worked together at a small factory downtown. He taught me how to take a break, how to stop thinking all the time. We rented a tiny apartment together for a couple of years. I remember the smell of the coffee he burned every morning, and the way he'd throw his socks in a corner instead of the hamper. It was messy, but it was ours. In those early years, we were inseparable. Weekends were spent walking aimlessly through the park, arguing about music, talking about girls we barely had the courage to approach. It felt like nothing could touch us. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and I thought that would always be enough. I thought that's how friendships were, steady, unchanging, like a river you never question. Then, in my 30s, life began to carve its own path. I got married, and suddenly my evenings were full of dinners, errands, and a family that depended on me. He got married too, had kids, and his life became a series of small emergencies that always needed his attention. We didn't stop caring, not really, but the calls became monthly, then quarterly, then half-yearly. I always told myself it was just temporary, that we'd catch up next month, that I'd invite him to dinner soon. There was always something more urgent: work, bills, responsibilities. Each small delay felt harmless at the time. I didn't see the cost. I didn't see how the quiet accumulation of absence could erode a friendship. I remember one Christmas when I promised to come see him with my family. I had a project at work and said I'd make it up the following week. That week turned into a month, then another, and eventually I stopped making the effort. He never complained. He never pressed me. That's what I remember most now: his patience, his quiet acceptance, and my own blind assumption that time would wait. By the time I was 50, our lives were so separate that I began to forget the rhythm of our conversations. I'd call, and there'd be awkward pauses, long silences that didn't used to be there. I didn't understand why at the time. I was busy and he was busy. I told myself the friendship was still there, just waiting for a proper moment. But those moments never came, and each small postponement stacked quietly, invisibly, until one day it was too late. The turning point came slowly. He fell ill. Nothing immediate, just gradually weaker each time I saw him. He called me a few times over those months, but I was always busy. I told myself the next day, the next week, I'd visit. I thought there would be more days, but then he stopped calling. I learned from his wife a week later that he had passed. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't even get to hear him laugh one last time. It hit me then, the finality of it. Not the loss of him alone, though that was unbearable, but the realization that I had lost him long before his death. 50 years of friendship didn't vanish overnight. It eroded slowly, quietly, through missed dinners, postponed phone calls, little excuses, until the bond we had was gone. And there was nothing to reclaim it. Nothing. I keep thinking about the small things now. The mornings we sat on the porch drinking coffee, arguing about who would win in a baseball game. The times we stayed up late talking about our dreams and fears. I remember every detail because I never thought they'd end. I took them for granted, like there would always be more of them. But life doesn't work that way. I think about my own life and the choices I made. I chose stability, family, work, the things I thought were necessary. And in doing so, I chose absence in the most silent, unnoticeable way. I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. And yet, the very act of living my life as I thought I should was what caused the greatest hurt. I wish I could go back and be a little selfish. Just once. Just to pick up the phone immediately. To show up when it mattered. To be fully present in those ordinary moments that meant everything. I can remember the sound of his voice on the other end of the line. Hesitant, careful, trying not to show disappointment. If I close my eyes, I can still hear it. But hearing it isn't the same as reaching out. I've come to accept that there are things in life that can't be fixed. Time, once gone, doesn't return. People once lost cannot be brought back exactly as they were. You can remember them, hold them in your heart, but the living, breathing connection, the laughter, the arguments, the everyday absurdities, those are gone. Sometimes, in the evenings, I walk slowly to the corner of the park where we used to sit. I watch people pass, couples, children, young men and women laughing. I think of him sitting beside me, making a joke, nudging me with his elbow, asking a question that doesn't matter. And I feel that quiet emptiness again, the reminder that I will never sit there with him again. If this means something to you, I suppose I want to say, don't assume there will always be time. Don't wait for the right moment, because it might never come. Don't let small delays, small excuses, quietly take the life out of connections you have. I know now that friendships, the true ones, require more than good intentions. They require presence. I still speak of him often, to my children, my grandchildren, sometimes to myself in the quiet hours before sleep. And though I feel the sorrow of what's gone, I also feel gratitude for what we had, for the decades of laughter, the nights of conversation, the sense of being understood without explanation. That part no one can take from me. But I also feel the sting, the raw ache of absence that could have been lessened. If only I had chosen differently. If only I had been brave enough to prioritize what mattered. I don't know how much longer I have. Each day feels slower, each conversation more precious. I try to keep in touch with others, but the fear of repeating the same mistake is always there, a quiet reminder in the back of my mind. I talk about him because speaking it feels like a small act of care, as if by remembering him openly, I honor the life we shared and the lesson his loss has carved into mine. And so, I tell you now, not as advice, not as guidance, but as truth, a truth that has cost me dearly. Time is finite. Friends, once lost, are gone. And some mistakes, the ones that accumulate quietly over decades, are the hardest to live with because they aren't dramatic or sudden. They're invisible until you finally see them in the emptiness of an absent voice. I don't end this in anger or regret that festers into bitterness. I end it quietly, with the memory of his laugh, the echo of his words, the long shadow of friendship that shaped my life and left me with both joy and sorrow. And I carry it with me each day, walking slowly, speaking softly, remembering a man who was more than a friend. He was a part of me, and now he's gone. I suppose that's all I have to say. Only that I remember and I mourn, and I carry the quiet weight of what time has taken. If you think of someone you care about, reach out now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because there is no reclaiming what has slipped away, no matter how much you wish otherwise. And in that small act of remembering, of speaking, maybe you'll feel, even a little, the presence of someone who mattered, as I feel him still here in this quiet room, in the soft turning of the day.